Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Hoteliers in Negril are this afternoon bemoaning the high cost of electricity. As Ashane Masters reports, at least one hotel has seen a dramatic increase in its light bill since March this year.
Exorbitant utility bills, yet closed for operation. That's the story of one small hotelier in Negril. Owner of the Negril Treehouse Hotel, Gail Jackson, says her business has been shut since the island's ports were ordered closed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Yet, her utility bills are mounting.
Imagine, we're closed, but our JPS bill was $515,000 and our water rate was over $400,000.
Ms. Jackson says she has no idea how the bill came to that figure, as only 4 persons reside at the property and all other activities have been suspended.
It's a challenge. It's very much a challenge to keep your utilities, pay your taxes, and you got to keep the lights on. So utilities are killing us with the small hotels.
The situation was similar for the Sharala Inn Hotel.
Our February bill with the hotel pretty full, right? 90-something% occupancy. We paid $1.3 million for February. For March, which was only half the month, we paid 1.2. And for April, with nobody, we paid 850,000. How can that be?
The hoteliers say these are actual bills and not estimated. They say efforts were made to get clarification from the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, but no answer from the electricity provider as yet. In the meantime, they say other expenses at their facilities continue to increase.
Because there's no stimulus except for duty-free for the small hotels. There's no loan, there's no grants that have been given to us. You know, we had to front all the money to pay the staff for the last 2 months.
Ms. Jackson says while the government is trying to do what it can, it is not sufficient.
The best cash is minimal at best. And we need people to work. But we need everyone safe.
And on the question of the government pushing for a full reopening of the tourism sector.
Well, I can understand from the government point the urgency. And yes, even our workers, they need to be back at work. But we first have to ensure that we have all the protocols and all that is necessary for us to have a safe opening. It's not an early opening that's the most important, but a safe one.
Ashane Masters, TVJ News.
Farmers in Danvers, Penn St. Thomas are crying out for help as they struggle to maintain their farms amidst COVID-19, drought and uncompetitive prices. More in this report from TVJ's Andrew Laidley.
We get water from pipe, but once a week. When it gone now, we have to just bear till it come back like next week.
With the ongoing drought and irregular water supply, farmers have a difficult task of trying to keep their crops and livestock alive. One cattle farmer says she has to transport water to her farm every day. However, some days the cows have to do without.
We need help because we have water shortage. And I can't afford to give the cow them water every day because I don't have the money to buy the gas to the vehicle to transport water every day. So I need help to help with my animals. It's 19 of them I have.
However, the shortage of water is not the only issue for the farmers.
A fertilizer problem, and then thing there, fertilizer and like chemical for spray grass, we have to buy it and it's very expensive too. So if they could have given one every now and then, we would have satisfied.
And with large farmers making the market more competitive by lowering prices, egg farmers are facing a particularly difficult challenge.
And the thing is, when them come with the cheaper egg, you have a standard, your egg can't move. Because the big farmer come in with for them egg and spoil up the market. So sometimes we have to sell the egg cheaper to get it because we don't want it spoiled.
because the places them now we used to supply, they don't take that amount of egg no more. So you have to look buyer, and the egg prices go down, and you have to actually go down with them, and you have to pay the same price to the feeding, and the feeding don't cut or drop.
They are appealing to the Ministry of Agriculture to provide some assistance for small farmers. Andrew Laidley, TVJ News.
Former Mayor of Mandeville, Desmond Harrison, is calling for another fire station to be built in Christiana. Mr. Harrison says with the increasing number of bushfires in the parish, another fire station is needed. He was speaking at a recent appreciation ceremony to recognize firefighters in the parish.
A continued dry spell has resulted in an increased number of bushfires in Manchester. Between January to April this year, the parish recorded 250 bushfires. That's a significant increase when compared to the corresponding period last year. And according to former Mayor of Mandeville, Desmond Harrison, the frequency of bushfires is posing a challenge for the Manchester Fire Department. The reason? Limited resources.
When you're gone, there's a fire down in Drobe Lane, which is next to the fire station. So therefore, Mandeville would come up and take care of that. But then there's a call for a fire for somewhere in South Manchester, Lesser Grove Town. How we deal with that? Colloquially, that done. So we need another fire station.
It is why Mr. Harrison is calling for another fire station, and he wants it to be erected in Christiana. Just recently, Christiana experienced a bushfire which was brought under control after 3 days. Due to the brigade's limited resources, 4 community members rendered assistance by trucking water to the location. 2 of them, Romaine Robinson and Jordan Morris, were recognized for their help at an appreciation ceremony over the weekend. In the meantime, Custis of Manchester Garfield Green is reminding residents to be careful when handling fires.
Fires are usually caused from human input, one way or the other. And I therefore take this opportunity to remind all of us to be more careful when handling fire of any kind.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. We have much more stories right after these messages. Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. Jamaica is likely to be affected by a large plume of dust from the Sahara Desert in Africa, which arrived in the Caribbean yesterday after spending the past week crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said the plume was first captured on June 7, blowing west of the African continent. It is usually formed in the Sahara Desert during the late spring, summer, and early fall, and then moves over the tropical Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center says the dusty air reached the eastern Caribbean Sea and will continue spreading westward. Director of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, Evan Thompson, told our news center that the dust particles can cause hazy conditions and warmer temperatures.
And sometimes it will cause some reduction in the visibility because of the dust particles in the atmosphere. As I said, it comes across as haze, and sometimes it would inhibit the kinds of development of rainfall to some extent. It might mean a little bit warmer temperatures because of it blanketing the area, as well as it could also prevent the kind of mixing in the atmosphere that would encourage the rainfall. So it could also result in slightly drier conditions as well as those warmer temperatures. But generally, it does occur during this time of the year, moving across into the Caribbean area, affecting mostly the eastern Caribbean. But from time to time, it would also drift to the west and affect Jamaica.
According to a Fox News report, although much of the dust remains above the surface, it can aggravate those with respiratory issues. A story of community spirit this afternoon. A little girl in Clarendon did not have a man to call daddy up to this weekend, but after Father's Day, she has 2. TVJ's Dwayne Anderson explains.
While many Jamaicans celebrated Father's Day on Sunday, this little girl from Clarendon did not have that chance with her biological father. But these men ensured she did not feel left out. They have adopted her.
And I don't have idea how my father look. I don't know how my father voice sound. So in the ending of the day, But this little one to get somebody running to play that role as a father. Sometimes not to be blood, It's the support and the love where a father would give. So I'm going to be that person.
Girls tend to gravitate towards fathers. And it's very important that, as a father, we are able now to give this child some of that fatherly love, which sometimes is lacking in some of our families in Jamaica.
The little girl's mother struggles with mental issues, so caring for her daughter is not easy. She is unsure who her child's father is. She claims that a man took advantage of her mental state and got her pregnant. But James and his friends say the days of a missing father figure are gone.
Nation building is the key. Looking after our children is very important to the foundation of our nation. And I'm just really, really thrilled to see this little girl who is not even used to having so many people around her, just getting excited about the things she's getting. It goes beyond words.
So I'm coming with my team, going to surprise the little girl today. So today I adapt that little girl in the foundation. I'm going to be that little girl father through the foundation. Whatever a father do, I will play that role. I will make sure that she gets her pampers every month, feeding every month, and our grocery, our snacks, our juice.
Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Detectives assigned to the St. Thomas Division are investigating an attempted robbery at the gas mart on the Yallas Main Road this morning. The robbers attempted to drill their way into a section of the building about 4 o'clock, but were unable to gain full access.
Get a call that thieves trying to enter the gas station by boring a hole through a section of the wall, entering the main office. They didn't get to reach in still, but they dug a hole in the wall, trying to get in.
The Yallas police responded to the robbery alert. Meanwhile, supervisor at the service station, Damian Phillips, said measures are being put in place for reopening.
Based on information so far, everything else is intact. So we're just here making preparation just to reopen and start back business as early as possible.
And in sports, with Jamaica slowly reopening some sectors following the shutdown caused by the coronavirus pandemic, Sports Minister Olivia Grange says things are being put in place for the return of competitive sports locally. Trishana McGowan reports. And we do apologize for the absence of audio on that sports story. And that's it for the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Do remember to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.
In the ministry, we have come up with a protocol that will be taken to the COVID subcommittee of cabinet for sign-off, both in terms of sports and other areas. And then we will be rolling